Today, I want to talk to you about a very important topic, divorce. Yes, divorce. It is something that has not been mentioned much, that I don't see much on video blogs like myself regarding finances and early retirement, but it is a very important topic. I have some shocking statistics to share with you about divorce. I want to talk to you a little bit about my own marriage and hopefully share some tips with you on how you and your wife or your partner, husband, whatever it is, how you can live your best life in retirement. So I hope you'll join me. Hey everybody, it's David at David in Progress, where we talk about financial independence, retiring early, and doing your best to live your best life now. Well, today, first of all, I'm in a little bit different area. It had just finished raining and it's just beautiful out. And I thought, man, I'm not recording in the house today or in my backyard. I'm going to the woods. So that's where we are. So first of all, a little bit about my marriage story. I have been married 29 years as of this coming September. And as a matter of fact, the shirt I'm wearing right now is a bit of an homage, a tribute to my wife. I was wearing this shirt on the day that we met. It was a setup lunch, and we met for the very first time at lunch. That day, I was wearing this shirt, and now it's our tradition that every year at the date that we met, I break out and wear this shirt. And yes, I'm very proud that the shirt still fits. Well, 29 years of marriage, we have been through a lot. We went through cancer shortly after our marriage, as you hopefully watched my video on that a couple of weeks ago. We had our one and only son. We went through career challenges and other health challenges and just all those things that happen to you when you get married. And now we are early retired. And with that, there is a change in the dynamic of our relationship. And that is something you don't hear talked about much in retirement and early retirement videos. And the other day, for whatever reason, it popped in my head as I was doing my morning walk, and I looked it up. So I want to share with you some what I think are fairly shocking statistics around retirement in our age group. So I brought some notes here with me. The term for it, which I had not heard before, is called gray divorce. So those of us that get divorced at a later age, it's called gray divorce. And between the ages of 50 and 65 is actually currently the highest percentage of divorce. And the number to me was shocking. 43% of adults between 55 and 64 get divorced. Now the national average is 34%. So that is quite a difference. Ages 65 to 74, the divorce rate is 39%. So I am now 57, and so in my age group is 43% of us that end up getting divorced. Well, I don't know about you, but I did not spend 29 years in this relationship to have any risk that it may end. And so I was reflecting on these statistics and kind of thinking about the stages of marriage. And I wrote down some notes here of what I think. You know, we're all familiar here with the honeymoon stage. You know how it is. You just get married and life is exciting. You're holding hands all the time. You're doing all those things that happen when you just get married, and it's just fantastic, and you're all familiar with that. And then you get past the honeymoon stage, and we're on to what I call, or what I'm calling here, the building stage, or life in chaos. So now at this point, in this period of time, probably about 10 years or so, at least it was in our case, you got the kid, you got the screaming baby off to the side. You know, I remember going to restaurants and paying the tab before we even got our meal so that we could leave as soon as possible. And you've got the car payment, and you've got the new mortgage, and next thing you know, you've got soccer and baseball and tennis and band and whatever. And your lives are full of chaos. It was during that time where I did the most travel for work. You know, I'm climbing that corporate ladder and I'm doing all those things. Meanwhile, we're very busy at home. So that whole two ships passing in the night, you and your partner, your spouse, you're probably just kind of seeing each other as you're moving on to something else. So you get through the chaos stage, and then you're in what I'm calling the middle. And this is kind of the kids transitioning. So think about it as your kids get around 13 or so. They really start to become their own person and develop their own lives. You're kind of just a conduit for them. You know, you're the ATM machine, you're the driver, you're taking them places, and they start to do more and more things on their own until they get to high school and you're hardly seeing them at all. And then they go off to college or trade school or a job, and you're seeing them less and less and less. And it's an exciting time, but it's a gradual time where your relationship is changing. And that's also one of those critical divorce points, is right when the kids go off to college. You know, you and your wife have been living in all this chaos, and suddenly you're looking at each other and you go, whoa, we got to figure out some new things. And then on to retirement. And I call that the who are you stage here at the very beginning. You know, you have spent all this time in that life of chaos, and suddenly you and your wife are sitting on the couch alone, and you look at each other and go, oh, who are you? Hey, by the way, I'm David. Very nice to meet you. And then hopefully, and I think this is what does not happen, it transitions into a conversation of who are we. That you know who you are as a couple and what you want when you step into that retirement stage. And I like to think that my wife and I have done a lot of this who are we conversations. But I can tell you that now that we are both no longer full-time working, the relationship is different. We are together 24 hours a day in essence. We don't have that kid at home to talk about. So I wrote down what I think are some big tips, some things that help you and will help me in our success in this transition time. So communication is key. My wife and I, in this period leading up to this early retirement, we have talked a lot about it. We have written down bucket list dreams of what we want to do, you know, places we want to go, activities we want to have. We kind of have that dream list of what we are retiring into. Because one of the biggest problems with retirement, whether even single retirement, is that you retire to escape away. You're not leaving work to go to something. So communicating that and talking about it and planning it is really, really important. And guys, I hate to be biased against this, but most of us are not very good about communication. We're not all that great as far as talkers. So please, communication is key, and you want to work on that. The other thing is shared activities. You know, when the kids were in soccer or band or whatever, you had a lot of shared activities, but those were really not you-centric, they were kid-centric, and you very likely had a friend group related to those activities. When the band goes away, so do all those parents and the friends that you had at that time. You know, you're no longer sitting there in the chair at soccer and talking to the other soccer moms and dads while the kid is out there playing. So you got to figure out some shared activities together. Yeah, there's the cliche pickleball. I think everybody is playing pickleball, and we've tried it a few times, and it is really great. We do things like volunteering together. There is one day a week that we try to set aside that we go together to a place to do some volunteer work, and that's terrific. We love travel. And one of my favorite things about travel is the planning process. So we work really hard together on that process, on how we plan for the travel, but then of course the shared activity of what we do when we get there. Another one that's also important is maintaining independence. You know, you're together 24/7, that is great, but it's also not good. So it's very important that you have your own life. I know too many couples, and it tends to be men, again, I'm being biased against men, that are so wrapped up in their wife's life that they can't leave them alone. You know, you got to give your spouse some freedom to go out and be their own person and do their own thing. For example, in our relationship, my wife has a day every week. It's a day on Wednesday where she does pottery the full day with some friends. And it's just fantastic. She goes out and does that artwork that she loves. And that's when I'm typically working on these videos, recording them, and the things that I'm doing. So we have our own lives on those days where we are independent of each other. She also has another day where she goes and she volunteers at a hospital. So she has those activities. Be together, but also allow that independence that you can be apart. That is really important. Now, this is the one that really gets to what we talk about here on this channel all the time, is financial planning. One of the things that my wife and I do is once a month, we sit down together. I break out the spreadsheet and go line by line through what we are doing as far as our finance. It's not her thing, but it's important that she understand and that she realizes what we were doing. If the seats were reversed, I know people where it is the wife that is the one that is the financial person, same thing. Sit down once a month and talk about finances and make sure you're on the same page. You know, once you get to early retirement, it's not the time to find out that one of you is really into spending a lot of money on luxurious trips, things maybe you didn't do before and you didn't mention it to the other person. I have a video a couple back where I talk about how my wife and I have set a travel budget, and having that budget set in the way that you can watch the video and see has really helped us on this. Planning for retirement financially is complicated, and it's critically important that both of you are on the same page and that you both understand. Now, that is not just the planning, but it's also where things are located. You know, what happens if one of you were to pass away, God forbid, or something were to happen? Both of you need to equally know where everything is, how it is working, and what the plan is for your retirement. The other thing I have here is health and wellness. One of the favorite things that we love to do is take long walks together to exercise. You know, you want to be together for a while, you want to be healthy, and that's important. And if you are retired, hopefully you have time to try out some different things with your health. That's joining a gym together, that's taking those long walks, that's experimenting with healthy eating. We have tried different meal plans where we're getting out of that rut and making some healthy dinners that we maybe would not have done otherwise. So what happens if things go wrong? Well, I have some other statistics here. You know, maybe it'll wake you up a little bit. You know, I love my wife, and I do not know what I would do without her. We kid at our house that I would never leave. I wouldn't be able to find my keys. I wouldn't be able to find my wallet. I would have no idea what's going on because my wife is also taking care of those things. Some of the statistics I read here is that, well, the majority of divorces in our age group are initiated by the woman. So, hey fellas, it's really important that you are continuing to pursue your wife and that you are, I call it, always be dating. Always be dating your wife, and think about all the great things about her and treat her with gratitude. And what you give, you get back. If you treat someone with gratitude and respect, you will get that back. But it takes two of you to do that. Now, what happens if you get divorced? Besides losing your keys, like me, you'll never find them again. Think about the financial cost. The statistic I have here regarding that is cost of divorce for a man is a 27% decline in your standard of living upon divorce. For women, it's even worse. It's a 45% decline. And as I mentioned before, most divorces are initiated by the woman in the relationship. So there is a cost to it. And if you're just going to be completely selfish, if you want to destroy your retirement potentially, get divorced right when you're stepping into it, and you're going to experience some bad things. So this is my challenge to you. Not only are you working on the finance side of your retirement, but you're also considering and making a huge priority the personal side, the together side of your early retirement. And so I know there's people watching this video that are long time married like myself, and hopefully you have some good advice that you can leave in the comments. What are things that you are doing in your marriage, things that you are doing in your marriage to ensure a happy couple retirement? If you're someone that maybe had things go horribly wrong, what advice would you leave to others to say, hey, these are the mistakes that I made. Don't make these mistakes. I would absolutely love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I especially want to thank you for giving me those thumbs up, for sharing, and especially for leaving comments. I really do appreciate you. Your likes and your subscribes help the channel a lot and help me get out these messages. Thank you so much for watching.